What's up guys, it's Kuldeep and I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about switching from Android to iOS. So what a lot of you might not know is I actually used to be an Android user, and I've been more of an Android user than an iOS user. I mean, I've had 4 Android phones in the past and the only iPhone I'm using currently is my first iPhone. So I have quite a good history of Android and I've seen it evolve and I've been a big fan of it until I eventually decided now I want to go switch to the other side, or to the dark side. But yeah, I've been happy with iOS and I've wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. I wanted to let you guys know of anything that you guys might be concerned about and things to look out for when making the switch. Before we get into iOS, let's talk about a brief history of Android phones that I've used so you guys get an idea of how much Android experience I actually have. My first Android phone was actually the Galaxy Note 2, which was an amazing phone, massive phone for its time, and I loved it. Then I switched over to the Galaxy S4, which was the biggest thing about that phone was that it had a 1080p screen, which at the time was insane. And then from there, I moved on to the HTC One M8. It was such a well-built phone, one of the most comfortable phones that I've used, good size on the hand. It had a very nice curve at the back. I think the build quality was the best that you could get at the time. Definitely better than the iPhone of the year. I think that was the year when iPhone released the iPhone 6 and we all knew the pen gate. But after that, I moved on to the Pixel, first Google Pixel, and that was one of my favorite phones. The camera was incredible, the software experience was really good. Yes, it looked very bland, but the overall software experience was great, and that should show you guys that I'm a very software heavy person. The reason why I also switched over from Samsung was because I got sick of TouchWiz at the time. Now it's called One UI, but overall it's Samsung's UI. It's very bloated, it's very overloaded with a lot of features, and I don't like that. I like simplistic, well-working UI, and I think Google delivered well with the Pixel. But overall, I was still unhappy with Android after the 2 years that I used my Pixel, and I made the switch and I haven't been happier. So let's move on to iOS. Let's talk about things that you will be excited to switch over to, things that I think iOS does way better than Android. And yes, Android has fixed some of these things since the last time I've actually used Android as a daily device. But overall, most of these things are still going to be applicable. I have been using the Galaxy S21 Ultra from my dad. And I mean, my entire family is very Android orientated. So I've still been in the loop. And I still think that these things that I'm going to be talking about, iOS does better. And then we'll speak about things that iOS does worse than Android as well. So let's move on to our first point. User experience, overall user experience. Now this is going to bring in a lot of things, but I'm going to focus on just fluidness and just things that work. And it's like a cliche. A lot of people say that iPhones just work, man. They're simple, they do the thing, and they work well with what they're doing. And that's kind of true. I mean, it's also very fluid in the way it's made. You can see there's a thought process in the animations that have been implemented. They're not just animations for the sake of it, it's to give you an overall feel for the UI. And my phone is now almost 3 years old and the animations are still smooth as the day I bought the phone. So overall user experience, you're gonna enjoy iOS a lot. Next is the design of the UI. I think the UI itself is something, is very important to a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't care about it, but people like me or people who like to look into detail, I think just the way a UI looks is very important, and I think iOS does a great job. It looks clean, it looks simple, it has a flowing design that is present throughout all the apps, throughout everything in the user experience. So I think the UI itself is brilliant. I know it's a bit dated, I know it looks pretty much the same since iOS 7 or 8, and I know that people that have been on iPhone for a very long time do want to change. I wouldn't mind a change. I would actually love a change. I love change, but I mean, it's very mature and I see why they're taking their time. Hopefully they do change that soon. Third point is app integration. So I mentioned this in the first point, but third-party apps just work better on iOS. I think it's a no-brainer because Android, the developers have to think about devices like, the Galaxy S21 Ultra but also something like the Galaxy A21 and even cheaper and lower end phones. So it's obviously difficult to optimize the apps for every device, and there is going to be more bugs, there is going to be more app crashes, and that just comes unfortunately with something like Android, where it has to cater for so many people. Now with iOS, the good thing is there isn't that many devices, so the apps just work well because the developers don't have to work for so many devices. I haven't had not even 10% of issues that I used to have on Android on iOS. So apps work flawlessly. That's going to be great. And overall, that's what you want. I mean, these days, most people, what do they use? They use just social media apps and maybe a few creativity apps, maybe a few tools like Acrobat Reader and whatnot, and that's it. So all of that's going to work great on iPhone, and you're going to be fine, and you're just going to enjoy that experience. So that's another plus. So number 4, you guys were waiting for this. I'm sure everyone knows this one, but you have to mention it. It's the Apple ecosystem. Apple devices just work better with other Apple devices. It's the whole ecosystem trap, or whatever you want to call it, but it works well. I have a MacBook and an Apple Watch, and they all work very well with the iPhone. I mean, it's all seamless. You don't have to do anything. There's no buttons you need to press. Everything is just convenient, and that's the whole thing. So if you want convenience, easy airdrops, handover features, copy and paste between different devices, that's going to work well with iOS. All right, so I've spoken about quite a few pros. Let me speak about some gripes that I have with iOS. My biggest issue is the way that it handles apps in the background. Apps don't work well in the background. Spotify on Android, I used to download like 80 songs, do my thing, I close the app and I can do whatever I want, and those apps are gonna download in the background. Some apps will even give you a notification with a download bar to show you your progress. But iOS, it just doesn't work, it just stops. Even with Apple Music, it does that. I mean, I play games as well, and there's one game in particular that I have updates of over 200, 300 megs, and sometimes I have to sit and wait for that update to download, and I can't do anything else because if I close that app, that update's gonna pause. So that's absolutely horrible. I don't understand why it does that. It's specifically for downloading. Apps stay open in the background, but downloads just don't work well with iOS. And I don't know if the newer iPhones with more RAM have fixed this issue, but I know that this has been the case since the start of time. So I really hope that iOS can fix some of these things, because that's actually my biggest gripe. Number 2, for someone who's on Android, you guys are gonna feel the difference in customizability. Yes, you can't change very many things. If you enjoy having things tweaked and changed to your preference, it's not going to be as open as it is on Android. And sometimes it's there, but it's just hidden away so far. Like, you have to go into the settings app, you have to find the app that you're looking for, and you have to dig into many settings to find things that you want to do. So that's definitely going to be a little bit limiting. But the thing is about iOS is if you're happy with the way Apple does it, then you're going to be fine. If you want to change it, you're going to feel that inconvenience. Customizability can also mean, just changing themes. In Android, there's a lot of skins that give you themes. The way you can place your app icons and widgets, it's a lot more open. On iPhone, it's the grid system, which you can't really do a lot with, but it has gotten better over time. So my 2 biggest gripes with iOS is that the apps don't work as well in the background as Android did, and customizability. But there is a few other smaller things that iPhone doesn't do as well as Android, such as notifications. They have improved over the years and they still keep getting better. I see the newest iOS is going to have a lot more, just the grouping is going to be a lot better, and it's just going to do a lot more things. As I said, there's a lot of pluses and downs, but the biggest thing that I'd like to say is, since the time I've made the switch from Android to iOS, they've both become very similar. The Android side has copied a lot from iPhone, and iOS has copied a lot from Android. It's every year when there's a new software update coming out from both, the talk is normally like copy and borrowing, and that's normally what's happening. And that's because they've both matured a lot, and they just are trying to iron out and make the experience better. So they're just learning from each other. And honestly, you're not going to feel that much of a difference. Your apps are still going to work the same. Navigation is very similar these days, and everything's just going to be a lot easier. So this is actually the easiest time to make the switch from Android to iPhone, or from iPhone to Android. I keep saying iPhone, but you guys know I mean iOS. So yeah, that's basically how I'd like to end the video. Those are just some things that you guys should look out for when you're making the switch. But overall, as I said, it's going to be an easy experience to switch. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoyed the switch. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up. It does help me out. And give me some suggestions. If you guys like videos like these, I'd love to talk about things like Windows 11 and a lot of other things. If you guys like these chatting type videos, let me know in the comments and I'll bring you more of them. So that's been it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.